I didn't mean to.
We can wait. No.
We still have 11 minutes. I didn't realize. Just hit the button. I'm going to do that.
No, we're early.
Well, I got to fix
the camera.
The camera. How does that keep happening?
I don't know.
Maybe somebody comes in and uses the studio when we're not here.
Do you have a cat?
I don't have a cat.
Oh, okay.
No. But you have a dog. How's Misty?
Good. Yeah, she's kind of like, okay, this is my house, you're my people. So, yeah.
When is she going back to the...
She goes every Monday.
Every Monday? I got to go to her next class.
I'll probably go and I'll probably do my live, probably like an 8 instead of 7 next Monday.
Wait, you have to scoot over a little bit because see, we have the background kind of centered, but we're not. So you go
that way, then I'll
that way, which is backwards from how we're seeing this.
No, you have to go that way.
But oh yes, oh geez. Okay.
There you go.
Now we go.
Backwards math. There we go.
Okay. Nicky Farley, Bill McKiske, E-Fog, Barry Cuda. What's happening, guys? Look how I just snapped right out of it, right?
Yeah.
What a consummate professional.
Bang.
Boom, I'm right to it. Peter Kovacs, Daniel Boquist. Yes, this is Ask a Mechanic. He's a mechanic. I'm a dog petter.
Yeah.
Howard E., Josh H., Nathan McCree, what's happening? Eric Keffer, UTG. Yeah. Barrows, what's happening, man?
What's happening, Kim?
Oh, good to see you all. We're a little bit early this evening because I hit the button. I just out of like pure reflex.
Toast to Ghost. Down below.
Roy
Miller.
Buttercup. Ooh.
Grandpa's Junk, another one of our New Zealand clan.
Yes, Grandpa. That's a great name.
Mm-hmm.
Just Grandpa's Junk. Oh, man. Roy Miller. So yes, Richard Pelvin. Mr. Richard Pelvin, it is awesome to see you as well, my brother. So what's going on, Dr. Art? What's new and exciting?
Selling half the house on eBay.
Nice. What kind of stuff you getting rid of?
All the extra stuff that came in the truck, like all those pulleys.
Okay.
They boom.
They go fast, right? I told you.
And then most of them are $60, so I put them all at 45. Bam.
Boom. They saw it. Yep.
And then an old Monster Tack. I had a 2018 Ford Mustang GT350 owner's supplement box. It's got all those cool manuals and posters and this flat plane crank display thing on there. Got it. Somebody gave it to me years ago, and it's been sitting under a chair in the office before we did it. And I'm like, meh, I'll just put it up there. And eBay says these should sell for $500. So I put an auction up starting at $200, and a guy texted me and goes, "I'll give you $250 right now." And I'm like, "It's yours." So that's what's been going on, and made a good junkyard run. Got some parts that I needed. Got a bunch of computers. So yeah, it's all good in the hood.
I have to get rid of more stuff.
It's you know how to do it too better than anybody with the eBay stuff.
I did it for years.
Yeah.
Did I tell you about the Charger I bought? I bought a 69 RT Charger. Yeah. Okay.
I'll take all the parts and I'll sell the body for more than I paid for it.
I paid $2,500 for the whole car in boxes. I made $27,000 off of eBay profit, right? And then I turned around and sold the unibody with the title for $4,500.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, eBay is really good.
Yeah.
Darrow's saying pulley sets for engines are going, especially Mopars, man. People pay a lot of money for those things.
Oh, no, I didn't have the right ones out of that plethora of 70. Well, there was probably 20 pulleys.
Yeah.
Didn't have the right ones. I had to buy the aluminum ones for that motor. So, but I made up for it by selling.
Uh-oh, this thing froze.
Did it? Or do people just not care anymore?
I think they just don't care. Nobody wants to talk to us. Nobody wants to ask us any questions or communicate or do anything.
Or tech, but we got 20 likes already.
Dude, we have jumped the shark. It's over.
Well, we're still 7 minutes early. Give me a chance for all the...
It doesn't matter. They know. Okay, yes, he's somebody selling up hearts, but that doesn't mean anything.
They're like Pavlov dogs. It's 7 o'clock or it's nothing.
That's true. That's true.
Yeah.
What's going on, Abel D?
What's happening? How's California, sir?
Zach's Mopars mashed potatoes. Everybody freeze. Nobody move. How's the XJ Unicorn tune going? I think it's doing great.
How did it drive home?
Terribly. It drove home okay until I got on 840,
Mm-hmm.
like the last 25 miles of the ride, and then it started holding back till the time I got to the exit, it maxed out at about 50 miles an hour.
Oh, it did it.
Yeah, it was just like holding back. And the next morning, I started up to move it, and this is when we see what it's doing, and it was fine. It was awesome, right? It ripped.
Mm-hmm.
And then it started to fall on its face a little bit after that. So I got to pull the tank. There's something going on with it.
There's something going on in the tank again? Yeah. Okay.
I might have just knocked a lot of the rust loose.
Enough loose. It's all pile on the bottom again.
But yes, other than that, the tuna's doing good. What did we run? A 984.
984, best time, personal best.
In terrible weather.
It was humid. It was like driving through soup.
And then I saw it afterwards, okay, when I watched the video as Kathy was editing it, it was squeaking the tire the whole way down the track.
And Tony, yeah, those high sense, China 275s are just like, ah!
It was an 8th mile tire squeal.
Yes. They were just screaming for life.
How much ET did I give up with that?
Oh God, 500s, because they're just slipping. I mean, the squeal is slip, right?
Yes. Yeah, if it's squealing.
And it's not just one. I mean, they're both of them just.
I didn't. I couldn't sense that in the car.
Oh, I could hear it when I was filming. I'm like,
I couldn't feel it. And I couldn't hear it. But I'm watching the video and the thing's going down the track.
Oh, and like the burnout flagger guy, he's like, what the hell? Because he could hear it all the way down too. The China tire scream.
Yeah, guys, seriously, you want fun? Go find a 5-speed 2-wheel drive XJ because it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous.
I had people commenting to me, would you tell them to buy a sugar? Every other comment.
We'll get to it.
It's expensive.
Charlton Zimmerman, how will UT fix the exhaust manifold on the Barracuda? JB Weld, no. Braze, no. I've never brazed anything in my life. I believe that brazing is like gluing. I don't see any difference between brazing and like gluing pieces of metal together. And that's just me. TIG weld, no. I am going to flux core it. I'm going to flux core the ear back on the manifold. I might actually just fabricate a whole ear out of flux weld, which I did on a block once.
You just get that casting hot, and it'll weld just fine.
Oh, well, beautiful.
Yeah.
But yes, it's as good as fixed. I just haven't gotten to it yet.
W356. Hey guys, all right. So can you crack into any computer, or are there limitations on years? With the HP tuners, there's certain years, models, and makes that they support, and some that they don't.
Mm-hmm.
Now there's some other hardware out there that I was looking at that I would be able to get into more stuff, but I'm still doing research on that. It's more money out of pocket. I'm like, do I need it? But what do you got, sir? I guess it would be the question.
Richard Pelvin, I'm upgrading my torsion bar bushings. I have a poly sitting there now, and the arm moves forward and after about half an inch. I'm going to try to pro forge ones which have a flared end to stop the movement. I wouldn't worry about it. First off, the strut rod is going to inhibit its movement. And when it's under load, so the weight of the car is on it and everything's it's not going to budge. It won't budge. I put a set of those bushings, regular urethane bushings, on my Charger, and it's fine, man. It's fine. I noticed that too. It seemed sloppy when I first put it together, but it hasn't budged. It goes down the road just perfect. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Doctor, when you come into SoCal's, let's roll to Pismo Beach. Just did this weekend in the ambulance. Camped out for the weekend. It was great.
Wasn't that where Daffy Duck went? Daffy Duck and Bugs Bunny. Didn't they go to Pismo Beach? They dug a tunnel to Pismo Beach. I don't know. Maybe this might have been one of those Mandela effects in my head. I don't know.
Could be. Sounds like it. That might be a minute because California is low on the list, but I appreciate the invite. And if I do get out there again soon, I'll get I'll get a hold of you. We'll hang out. I'll steal your son's bug and drive it back home.
Josh, it is good to have you here, my brother.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Oh, it is BW 356. I'm not currently looking to do anything, but was just interested in the capabilities.
Yeah.
And Zero is here.
Nice. What's happening, Zero?
Joe Kay is saying we are very live. I know.
Yes.
I know.
For a limited time because we're both getting old.
Yeah. Get us while we're still coherent.
Yeah.
We're both very aged.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Dave Scrimshaw, exhaust gasket, not for Slant 6? Yes, for Slant 6. So the original Slant 6 exhaust manifold is stamped, is a stamped steel one. All right, that's one gasket that has to cover both the intake and the exhaust. So the original one is a shim steel gasket. The replacement ones are material and they will rip. Cometic makes a good one that won't. It's a regular gasket, but it won't split. It won't tear itself up. But yes, the original exhaust gasket on the Slant 6 is a steel shim.
There you go. Tim's got it. Bugs and Daffing we're fighting over Pismo Beach
and Thermopolis, Wyoming. Okay. See, I wasn't imagining. I knew Pismo Beach had
a bunny in it somewhere.
Part in history, yes. Took a wrong turn at Albuquerque. That's right. Bob's Chop Shop. Hey guys, looking forward to seeing you fix that exhaust manifold. I've always preheated it and just used a high nickel rod like a 701B and stick welded them and then wrapped it in a welding blanket. So the last thing that I welded back on, right, using the flux core, just using a flux core, was an ear that I broke off of a Slant 6 block. So the ear that's under the starter pocket on a Slant 6, I just busted it off. I was dragging the block across my parts yard, and it broke that ear off. So I ground it, I made a very, very deep V in it, and I just flux cored it. I just laid a bead all the way around. Then I went back and I laid another bead all the way around, and then I laid a bead on either side of the bead, to overlap them, and it held perfectly. Never gave me any trouble at all. So that's how I'm going to do this one. In the past, I've oxyacetylene welded them, the exhaust manifolds when they crack like that. It's the same process. V it out, and then I would use a torch, and I always got good results with that also. But I'm just going to cold weld it. I'm going to cold weld it with the flux core and see what happens. If it doesn't work for whatever reason, then I'll try it. I'll redo it again with oxyacetylene.
Boomer, when you tune the Jeep, does it bypass or take out the O2 sensors? No, because on a JTEC, the rear O2 sensor, the computer likes to see it plugged in and the heat side of it working. And as long as that's working, it's happy, if that answers your question indirectly.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's Mexican Spec. Welcome, Mexican Spec.
Nice. It's happening.
That award is still good. A week later.
The little tiny.
Yeah, a week later.
We got your 2-week-old fruity water that you didn't like.
Yeah, I'm not crazy about it. It was good the first couple of sips, and then I was just like, no.
Yeah.
No. Tim Page lives in Thermopolis, West Virginia.
Nice.
Oh, Wyoming. Sorry, Wyoming.
Dube 1925. 68 Hemi A bodies. Did the Barracuda have an advantage over the Darts with their shorter wheelbase?
Yes. Yes, they did. Not a great advantage, but they did have an advantage. If you look at the super stock AA records through the years, almost all of them were Barracudas. Bob's Chop Shop, cool. Yeah, I preheat it with oxyacetylene and then weld it. But yeah, interested in how you do it. I mean, I don't think there's any textbook way to fix it. It's just everybody does the technique or the thing that they feel most comfortable with. So we'll see what happens. Evan Jones
Mm-hmm.
says, "I'm the man."
Nice.
Yeah, thank you, Evan. I appreciate that. I'm learning from you while I work on my first classic, a 78 square body with a 350. Can't wait to get her singing. Good
Nice.
luck with that. That's a great first vehicle.
It's perfect because it's like a big Lego. Everything's easy to get to, and it's a small block Chevy, so there's parts and
And it's super popular. So yeah, you won't have any problem getting information. There's tons of forums and stuff like that. There's lots of aftermarket support for that. You can't go wrong. That's a great first vehicle. Good luck with it. Chaz, does a CVT transmission have slip? I would think it was.
It does not.
A CVT has no slip.
CVT has no slip. What happens is
What wears on them then? Because they
the linear actuator, because it works like a snowmobile trans. That one pulley gets smaller and it's V'd. So as it gets smaller, the ratio increases and decreases with the linear actuator. Kind of like on a snowmobile, it's on an inertia spring.
No, I'm familiar with how they.
And then what happens to those? It's a belt, but it looks like a metal belt that someone stapled all the way around.
Right.
And then after time, when that linear actuator wears and you put a load on the motor, the metal starts to slip, and it's just a snowball thing, and then it just doesn't go anywhere. And then you just and you rev, and nothing happens, and there's nothing you can do but throw the thing in the garbage and get another one.
So I never knew about that. Well, I'm probably not going to have a
CVT
anytime in this lifetime.
So, and it does have a torque converter, yes.
What do we got? Ben Price, nobody talks about the old 413. Why? Because it's just a small bore 440. It's a small bore 426. It's a small bore 440. They work. There's nothing wrong with them. But anything the 413 can do, a 440 can do better. I mean, that's really what it comes down to.
413 sounds like a cool engine number.
It does.
413.
Yes, the Beach Boys,
Yeah.
Right? I get that. But the 413 only had really 1 year in the sun, which would be like 1962. Because 63, they overboarded to the 426 size. So
here's one for you. Hey, where can I source 30 over 273 dome pistons for use with a later model small valve J heads? Asking for a friend.
Good question, and I probably wouldn't bother with that. That's a bad combination if you ask me. Even the small valve J head is still going to interfere with that tiny bore on the what you call it, the 273. I would use the 318. The best head you could probably use on that engine on the 273 is the 273, the 66 through 69 273 318 head. Because that head is actually in proportion with the 273. It's kind of small for a 318, but it's perfect for a 273, and it's closed chamber. So that's the head that I would look for that. I would say that the 188 valve in the J head, or the 360 head, the 188 valve is going to be literally right on the cylinder
Scraping
wall.
that side of the cylinder.
Right on the cylinder wall on the 273.
Just go 60 over on it, and then they'll fit.
You could do that. It's still going to be like
right there.
Yeah.
So it's going to be shrouded no matter
It's
what.
going to be shrouded.
Okay.
Mongrel Motorsports, Ford 302, trying to install distributor on points only open between wires. Can't move it enough to compensate without running out of room. Try that again. Ford 302.
Mm-hmm.
Trying to install distributor and points only open between wires. Mongrel, can you rephrase that, please? Because I'm not understanding. Do you understand what he's saying?
I think what he's saying you can't spin it far enough but pop the cap up. Yeah.
Let's see what he says.
Yeah.
Rephrase that, because I don't think we're getting the clear question.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, not enough travel. Okay, So you got a couple of ways to fix that, right? You want to?
Yeah, I mean, if you don't have room here, you pick it up, spin it over a tooth, and put it here.
Yeah, you've got,
because you have big vacuum cannons,
there's
those
10
gets in the way. Yeah.
there's I believe it's 10 teeth on the distributor gear, right? So you just take the cap off, okay? Put your hand on the rotor, all right? And turn the rotor in the direction you want to move the wires in, right? As you lift up on the body, but turn it gently. When you get to the top of that helical cut, so as you lift it, it's going to turn a little bit. And when you get to the top of the helical cut, you'll feel it go, right? So just move it over one tooth and drop it back down. And you're probably going to have to wiggle it a little bit once you do to get it to re-engage with the oil pump drive shaft, which is a hex shaft that runs from the oil pump straight up to the bottom of the distributor. But that's one way to do it. The other way to do it is to take all of the wires off the cap, move the distributor over so that the wires, so that the posts are more in relation to where you want them to be, and then retime it that way. Just moving them all over.
It's not that tough.
It's not that big of a deal, because the rotor, no matter where you put so assuming the distributor is in the engine, no matter where you move the body of the distributor, the rotor is going to stay put. So if number one was here and the rotor's pointing to number one, and then you move the cap with any of the wires on it so the next post becomes number one, it's still number one. So then from that point, do your firing order. Oh man, I hope that helped. Oh wait, Mongrel Motorsport says nope, the one tooth change doesn't work. Then try the other thing I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage is in the house.
What's going on, buddy?
We haven't changed royalty here because this guy is on the cover of Mopar Collector's Guide. Did you see that?
It's his big smiling face.
Big
The cover of a
smiling face.
magazine.
Yep.
He outdoes us with, like, he doesn't even try.
No. And so look at him, you would never know. Like just the day before that picture was taken, he had lost by 48 car lengths. He got gapped by 48 car lengths. You'd never know by looking at that picture.
That he was, yeah.
So if you guys don't know who it is, that's Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage, the best Mopar channel in all of YouTube, period, the end. Much better than this one. My channel's not really a Mopar channel. I just do a lot of Mopar stuff. That's a true Mopar channel, the best one in all of YouTube. Go over there and like and sub and share and whatever you do. I don't even know what you do. But do it for Jamie at Dead Dodge Garage.
Yes. And he does fun stuff. He goes with buddies and he pulls Superbirds out of dead guys' garages.
He does great shit all the time. All the time. I'm jealous. I watch his channel and I'm like, my channel's just a piece of shit. I can't believe I do this.
Yeah, no wonder my videos suck. Yeah.
No wonder my videos are. Why does anybody even watch this stuff? And Zero was just kind enough to put a link to Dead Dodge Garage.
There you go.
Okay. And he's on the cover of the Rolling Stone, according to Samuel Goodman. Rolling Stone as well. And he's literally dressing a Superbird engine right now. Excellent.
Yeah. Woe is me with him. Yeah. And then he took all the snide comments from his trip and he did like K or J body, LeBaron.
Right.
And got that thing running and drove the thing around. He was like, this thing's great. Just as kind of a, okay, people, you don't think I'll do it? I'll do it.
Is there something about drool tubes?
Yeah, there were.
Oh, the slant. Okay. Come on, Tony, I've learned so much of what I know from you. Yeah, but bro, you've added to it. Now I watch your channel and I try to pick up stuff. Rick S. I'm about to install manifolds on the Slant 6. Originally, they had a steel shim gasket, but I have a Felpro one. Don't use the Felpro one. Can the exhaust manifold still break and it expands because of this gasket? No, but that gasket will not last. I know from experience. Get the Cometic one. It's expensive, but it'll work. Or if you can, find a steel shim. Your best bet is to find the steel shim. If you can't find the steel shim, get that other one. But the Felpro one will not last. I know for a fact it won't last because I've had that problem. Who'd want to be on the cover of Rolling Stone? It used to be a big deal to be on the cover of Rolling Stone before they became commies.
Yeah, now it's pick a lefty and
Yeah. Let's see. Mongo Motorsports can confirm on the manifold gaskets, ran those stupid aluminum looking ones for only 6 months on a 6-cylinder and they were blown out. Oh, I know. I don't know why they put them on there. They're literally paper. They're paper with like an aluminum covering over them. What exhaust system doesn't reach a hot enough temperature to burn paper?
in tinfoil.
And tinfoil. I mean,
Take Sub-Zero's question there.
Sub-Zero. Hi, fellas. What do you guys use dynamic compression calculations for your engine builds? My latest build is coming in at 8-to-1 dynamic compression, and I'm worried it's too much. I don't. I figure static compression and then just tune to what the engine wants. I don't really worry about what the numbers are because they're kind of irrelevant, and they do change through the scale, through the range of the engine, depending on the camshaft profile. So static compression is always static compression, whatever it is, because that's just the math, all right? But dynamic compression changes. It changes with camshaft profile, it changes with RPM, it changes with all different factors. So it's not really something you can really pinpoint. You see what I'm saying? It's a variable. So I've always just gone by what's this static compression on this thing? What are its basic characteristics going to be based on the cam that's going in there and its operating range, and then just tune to what the engine wants. Read plugs, read the exhaust, read the seat of your pants, and tune from that point. Does that make any sense?
Yes, because I don't worry about numbers at all.
Right, it doesn't worry about numbers at all. Neither do I. It's almost like just one of them curiosity things. Like, gee, I wonder what the compression is on this. So
But in the end, it doesn't matter.
In the end, it doesn't matter.
You hit the key and fire it up. Okay, I won.
Right.
Tune it in. Go down the road. Yeah.
Exactly.
I mean, if you're in a whole different territory, if you're really going to worry about a lot of that stuff, so.
Whoops. What time did we start tonight? I butterfingered the button early, so we got on early.
Like 10 till.
Yeah, we're way ahead. We only got 65 likes. How does that happen?
I told you it's me.
It is, bro. It is.
You're gonna have to do the show. A
I
week by yourself, and you'll get thousands of likes. You put my old ugly ass on here, and then everyone's like, nah.
Dude, I would have like 200 people watching and 7,000 likes. And I don't know how that would happen, but it would happen. And now, look.
It's the inverse, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. Carl Cadet is recovering a pair of duster buckets right now. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I've recovered my last seat. I will gladly pay the exorbitant prices to have somebody who does upholstery do my next pair of seats. Have you ever?
Oh, I like doing upholstery.
Well, guess what?
Guess what? They're lined up. Yeah, just pick one out there. I actually like doing the upholstery because I understand it.
I try to understand. I mean, it seems pretty simple, right? Foam, cover, hog rings.
But it's like anything. There's
technique, and I'm just not into it. Mike N. Is there anything I should do to a heater core to significantly reduce the chances of it from leaking in 2 years?
Buy a good one. Really be careful with what you buy, because if you go to O'Reilly's and they hand you some flimsy aluminum thing, you're just asking for it.
Yeah. Buy a quality one to begin with.
And generally, if you could still get one from the OEM, 10 years out of it.
And install it gently. Most of the heater cores, the way they're boxed, you've got to bend the tubes
to get it through the firewall.
And all of that. So yeah, be very gentle when you do that, right? You know, lube the hose ends really good when you put them on there. Like, don't gorilla it, and it should last. I mean, indefinitely.
Doing those on like a Fox body, people would bring me the O'Reilly heater cord. I'd be like, no, go to Ford
Right.
because
Don't go get-
we're not doing this shit again. Yeah, that's Dodge pickups are the same way too. The first, the first generation of the semi-looking ones.
Well, Carl is saying nothing to it. Been doing it for 40 years.
Mhm.
Well, better you than me, my brother.
Mhm.
Because I hate it. Crashes Road Runner Garage. Thoughts on yes, Remflex. That's what I meant to say before. I'm so sorry to whoever I said Cometic. It's not Cometic, it's Remflex. I'm sorry about that. Yes, Crashes Road Runner Garage. That's the one
Those
that
nice
I
thick
meant
ones.
to say before. Yeah,
Mhm.
Remflex. Sorry about that for anybody I said before, and thank you, Road Runner Garage. Bill McKeiska, thank you for the super chat. Why does a small block Chrysler benefit more from increased cubic inches versus a small block Chevy that sees greater benefit from higher RPMs? Go ahead.
No, this is all you.
Rod ratio. The small block Chevy. Okay. Is what you're saying true? That's the first thing I have to ask here. Why does the small block Chrysler benefit more from increased cubic inches versus a small block Chevy that sees greater benefit from higher RPMs? I don't see it as a true statement. I don't see it as a true statement. I mean, the best combination for a small block Chevy, I'm not getting into LSs or anything like that, but the best, most flexible combination I know for a small block Chevy is a 383, which is a 3 3/4 inch 400 crank in the 4-inch bore block, which is bigger than any of the standard Mopar sizes like the 360. I don't really see where that's the truth. The small block Mopar has a better head. It has a better combustion chamber. It has a much better exhaust port because it's raised. It's a raised exhaust port compared to drastically raised compared to the small block Chevy. The small block Chevy is actually, or the big block Chrysler is really a small block Chevy. If you put a small block Chevy and a big block Chrysler head next to each other, you really got to look to see which one is which. Okay, one has studs and the other one has rocker shafts. That's like the main visual difference. Other than that, they're almost completely interchangeable. But the small block Mopar has, I forget what the degree is on the combustion chamber, but it has a much higher raised exhaust port, which makes it a superior cylinder head. But I forgot what the question was.
You answered it.
Okay. Barrows, thank you for the super chat. Mod Appreciation Fund for the best mods on YouTube. They are the best mods on YouTube, and I'll put that towards the next thing I send them. What's that?
Tony, would burning the car down rectify the heater core problem that Mike is having?
Yes.
Yes, it will, because
Yes.
that cheap heater core will just melt and just become a blob.
But it's temporary. When you torch the car, okay, it's a temporary heat. This is what you got to realize, and it's very hard to control. You know what I mean? It's like you end up having to sit on the curb 30 or 40 feet away from the car to really enjoy the heat. If you get much closer, it starts singeing your hair and your clothes and stuff like that. And really, who needs that? And it's only good for about 15 to 20 minutes. So yeah, torching the car is good heat, but not as good a heat as actually having the correct heater core in the car. I think I answered that okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Dr. Giggles 225. Here's a name for you. Hey, UTG, curious why my Edelbrock 1406 carb hesitates when the secondary is open. That is called morning sickness, and that is common to all of those carburetors, all of the Edelbrock and AFB derivative carburetors. And the reason for that is because as that carburetor sits, the gasoline literally evaporates out of the secondary side of the carburetor. So now the first time you hit it, okay, so that thing's completely warmed up, you're driving it for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, and you say, I'm going to mack this thing. And you do it, and it goes, you take your foot off the gas, it's, well, that's because it has to re-prime the whole secondary circuitry of the carburetor before it'll flow. So the first time or two that you hit the secondaries on an Edelbrock carburetor falls on its
There's
face.
nobody home in the
Right.
gas department.
Right.
Yeah.
So what I do is if I'm running something with an Edelbrock carburetor during the burnout, once the tires are spinning and you're about to end the burnout, put it to the floor then and let it choke and spit at the end of the burnout, and that'll prime that secondary side. So when you actually pull up to the starting line to stage the car, it's already primed and it works when you hit it. But that's a very common problem with all of those carburetors. Josh Holman, yes, but if you light him on fire, he dies. Not a good thing. I've been on fire countless times. I'm not dead.
What's a little fire? Yeah.
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 Eyebrows and shit grow back, bro. It's
Right.
not a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
Alan Shildroth, what about using copper embossed head gaskets?
No exhaust gaskets.
Oh, exhaust gaskets. Yeah, that's fine. They're better than the composite ones. They're a little bit more expensive, but you get what you pay for. They really are eternal. Ghost, hey guys, how do you feel about gravity bleeding motorcycle front brakes? Is there any other way? I wasn't aware that there was another way to do it.
It's a straight shot. Yeah.
Let's see. Rick asks about the Slant 6 manifolds. When removing one stud broke flush to the head at the very back. Any more ideas how to get it out, drill it out? Unfortunately, that's probably your best bet. If it's broke off just above, you can usually weld a nut to it and bring it out that way. But if it's broke off flush, then yeah. So what I do with those, okay? So I got a bolt that's broken off flush. Right?
In a cast.
The casting, right? What I do is I'll take a drill bit that's about or larger than the size of the overall hole, and I'll dimple the center of the whatchamacallit,
the broke bolt.
The broke bolt, right? And then use a piece of tubing as a guide, right? So you're going to drill straight into it. So you drill into the stud. You get it as centered as you can, right? Sometimes you got to take a grinder and just make it completely flush. You drill into it as centered as you can. You make yourself a little divot, and then you use a piece of tubing. Depending on the size, 1/4 inch, 5/16, whatever. You use a length of about an inch tubing or so, and you put that into that little register that you made, and then you can drill into that using the tubing as a guide, and then this way you're not drilling off on the sides and stuff like that. Your turn, Dr. Art.
Okay. Bob's Chop Shop, which he embarrasses me because he's putting a big motor in his D100. Did you figure out your wheels for Big Richard yet? Yes, I did. Do I have them at the house? No, not yet. But they're in the cart waiting for my little finger to go.
You're not going to use the slots?
I'm going to use the slots, but I got to get tires for them.
All right.
And then I got some torque thrusts for the front.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that thing needs torque thrusts.
Yeah.
Fubar! I didn't realize Fubar was in the house. Fubar, thank you, my brother. Fubar just put up a link to my merch. Yeah. Oh, this isn't my merch. This is a Super Stock
and Drag Illustrated.
Sure. Yeah. Which I can wear. I can actually wear a Super Stock and Drag Illustrated shirt because I was a Super Stock and Drag Illustrated staffer at the end of its life. I worked for Collison during the last year that Super Stock was around, and then they made the change to Drag Racing Monthly. But yes, I can officially wear this reproduction Super Stock and Drag Illustrated because I was an actual Super Stock and Drag Illustrated staffer.
Is that from when you were there? Because it looks like it's a little worn out.
No, it's a couple of years old. It's a couple of years old. I got this one and I got the red one.
Rich B1, Uncle Tony and Art. What are some of the most insane engine swaps you have come across that were surprisingly successful? Not necessarily ones you have done, but experienced. The coolest one I've seen lately, there are some guys I think they're in Sweden. They took a V12 airplane engine and put it in a Crown Vic.
But is that really successful? Is
Yes, they drive it, and
Yeah.
it's insane because it's got a big blower on it. It's just like, wow. The thing sounds like a tornado coming at you down the road. It's fantastic.
I can't, off the top of my head, I can't think of any that are. I've just seen so many engine swaps. Successful. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank. I can't really.
Yeah, a lot. I've seen a lot of people try with weird shit and putting tractor engines in cars and vice versa and stuff like that. But that's just the coolest one that off the top of my head, that I can think of. It's called the Interceptor. And
The
if you haven't seen
Interceptor.
it, yeah, if you haven't seen
All right,
it,
go check that out. The Interceptor.
Yeah,
Oh, I saw that.
yeah.
It's a wagon, right? Is it a wagon?
No, it's a Crown Vic.
Okay, there's a wagon that's got an aircraft engine in it.
Okay, I didn't see that.
Okay. Does anybody know the one I'm talking about? It's a station wagon with a aircraft motor in it. The whole thing is stretched out. Let's see. Rex S. Tony, you recommended in a video to time by specs instead of power timing on a fresh motor. Can you explain why? I have a fresh 355 small block Chevy, 12 degrees initial, and it feels like there's more power there. Okay. So if you're putting together a fresh engine, fresh timing chain, there's no stretch, there's no slop, there's nothing like that. When I say to set it by specs, I'm not talking about, there's a performance engine. I'm not talking about setting it to the factory specs off of top dead center, like 10 degrees before, 5 degrees before, whatever that happens to be. I'm talking about setting it for total advance, right? So what you need is your damper marked to show, let's say, 0 degrees, 10 degrees, 20 degrees, then 30 degrees. And then at 30 degrees, you want to have slash marks for 32, 34, 36 degrees. You can even go 38 degrees, and then 40. And that's where you want to time it from. So you want to bring the motor up to whatever RPM it's going to be. Let's say that's all in. So let's say at 2,000 RPM, all your advance is in. Well, then you're going to take your distributor and set it to those marks you have on your damper that are someplace between like 30 and 40 degrees, whatever works best for you. And generally speaking, the amount of lead that an engine wants, generally has to do with the bore diameter of the engine. So everything else being equal, right? So an engine with equal compression, equal camshaft, equal everything, right? Bore stroke relationship, whatever you want, or rod ratio, I should say. If 100% of the factors are equal, the engine with the larger bore is going to want more lead because the flame has to travel across more real estate. Does that make any sense? So, but that's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about setting it to the spec that the factory prints, because usually the factory is printing a spec based on emissions. Anything since 1967, 1968, all of the timing specs are based off of emission controls. And all of the timing specs for previous engines are from like a really low grade gasoline that they were using. Like if you go back to let's say 1965, 1964, the gasoline we have today, as far as octane rating, like our regular is like what their super used to be. They changed the rating figures. Because remember, pre-interstate travel, cars that were built, let's say, up until the very early 60s has extremely low compression ratios. And so they had very conservative spark timing, and they didn't really pull much in the way of load or speed. So the gasoline was formulated for those cars. So early engines have very conservative timing because of low compression ratios and low demand use. And then later engines have conservative ignition timing because of emissions controls. So that's why I say if you got a fresh engine with no slop or anything like that, time it to its full advanced, where you want the advance to be. And then wherever it ends up at idle is where it ends up at idle. It doesn't make any difference.
Yes. Or you can use a rollback timing like that I have.
I don't use one.
You don't? Okay.
No.
Set it at 35 and then 0. And
No, because
you like to see the actual.
I want to know.
You don't trust it.
I don't trust it.
Okay.
Because years ago, 40 years ago, okay, we actually tested these things. A regular old school timing light versus dial backs and stuff like that. And we had like 3 different dial backs and one, like an old Sears conventional one.
Like with big metal one, like I got.
Yeah, and the dial backs, 3 different dial backs from 3 different manufacturers gave us 3 different readings.
Okay.
So I just, that was something we did Cars Illustrated, or right before, we were doing Cars Illustrated. 40 years ago we tested this stuff. So no, I do not trust dial back timing lights.
Yeah, it's like you were saying when they changed the timing they changed it for NOx emissions.
Yes.
When I did a lot of 390s and stuff like that, you go and get the 63 to 65 390 head,
Okay.
and the ports are gigantic opposed to the later ones where they shrunk the size of the intake and exhaust ports for NOx emissions.
Okay.
So they were like, oh, you want a 64 head? Why? But yeah, because the ports were better. But
well, this relates. Is it Spanky Ham? Is it true that conservative timing used for emissions is to make the exhaust hotter and also cause the coolant to run hotter, where timing will make the coolant temp lower? Yes.
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 Yes. If your engine is way behind on timing, it will overheat.
Yes. And that's also the enemy of fuel economy, because lighting it late creates more heat, but also a lot less efficiency. So the piston isn't working as much off of top dead as it is when you've got an advanced time.
That's why all these computers that we do, that whole full throttle thing, the timing is so lazy. That's to meet emissions. You crank that up and that engine's like, woo.
Yeah, woo-wee.
This is what I was designed to do.
The track.
Yeah, this is what I was designed to do. I'm having a good time now. Tony, were you aware of the Mopar Warrior wheels?
You're talking about the 69 recoil wheels? I've never heard the term Warrior wheels. Or maybe I have heard the term Warrior wheels, but those are just known generically as the Kelsey Hayes recoil wheels. So that was 1969 only. They had a small ballpark version, 14 by 6 or 14 by 5.5, and then they had a 15-inch version, which was 15 by 7. And Kelsey Hayes made those. And they were supposed to be installed, or an option, on the 69 cars. This is before they had the regular rally wheels that they introduced in 70. So they had a problem with them, with the lug nuts backing off, right? So they were listed as an option, and early production 1969 cars got them and were delivered with them. So there are a few sets out there in the wild, but they were recalled just a month or two after production started. So Chrysler recalled all the cars, fitted them with steel wheels and hubcaps, right? And then sent all of those recall wheels down to Mexico. And they use them on the Mexican cars. I guess they don't care if Mexican wheels fall off.
They fall off anyway. Yeah.
Right. So evidently, they became the wheel to use on Mexican taxi cabs in the 1970s, and they were sought after. And evidently, you can still find stashes of these wheels down there in Mexico, because they sent down a ton of them. Mexican Spec is saying he has seen them there. Am I right about the taxi cabs? For some reason, maybe wheel cooling, I don't know, but for some reason they ended up on taxi cabs.
Oh, they're just like the wider wheels that sit on the potholes or something, or
I don't know.
Or brake cooling, like I said. Who knows?
I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Let's see. Scott Molesky, have a chance to buy a 67 four-door Dodge Monaco 383 two-barrel, one-owner, great car, no rot or rust, yay or no muss. Yeah. I mean, if the price is good, that's a great cruiser, bro.
Yeah.
You just turn the key on that car and drive it to Mars, man. Yeah. Barracuda, is there anything wrong with running a BBD and the heat riser deleted because of headers on my Hemi inline 6-cylinder? No, the heat riser is only for the initial warm up. As long as you've got undercarb heat for that, because those carburetors are lean. They're calibrated lean from the factory. No, I wouldn't worry about the heat riser. It take a couple of seconds longer for it to warm up, but you do need under carburetor heat for that carburetor. Bill Wilson, why would they be desirable on a taxi cab if they broke? I don't think they did, to tell you the truth. I think it was an instance or two. Maybe somebody on the assembly line didn't have the torque wrench, the impact gun set right, and a couple of them. And Chrysler overreacted and recalled all those wheels. Because I never heard of anybody else having a problem with them.
Last real car guy. Did you buy the red Barracuda, Dr. Art? I want to see you two race those. Actually, it's gone. So
is it?
Yeah.
You bought it.
No, I didn't buy it.
You bought it.
No, I didn't. Trust me, I did not buy it. I did not buy that car.
Okay.
No. Rookie Mechanic, 1969. UTG, I'm building a stock 350 V8 with a camshaft, 224, 470 lift. Do I think a 650 double pumper is too much carb? No. If you got a light car, the double pumper would be fine. If you got something heavy, I'd put a vacuum secondary on it. Yep. But a 650 is perfect for that.
He hit it. It's a good carburetor. Yeah, absolutely. The only thing I would say possibly is that the 650 double pumper for an engine that mild might be jetted a hair on the fat side. So you put it together and run it around and look at the plugs. That's the only thing I can say. It's probably because that's really the double pumper is a mechanical secondary Holly is more of a higher performance carburetor. So they jet them, they're calibrated fatter than a typical street carburetor. So that's the only thing I would say. Size wise, it's fine. I mean, that's nothing. The 650 CFM is fine.
Yeah. But
it may be jetted a tad fat for that mild an engine. And you'll only know that after you're running around for a little bit.
In the front jet's probably like a 67 to start and go from either way from there. Yeah. Kevin Elliott, my 1997 4-liter ZJ has 325,000 miles to it, runs great. The vacuum drops off under load, and the heater and the AC switch go to defrost. Yeah, back to the panel vents. No vacuum leaks. Just the worn rings? No.
You do have a vacuum leak.
Yes.
You do have a vacuum leak. And the vacuum leak is going to be in the plastic tubing that runs along the passenger inner fender, right? It runs forward. Where does it go to? Oh God, I'm trying to think.
It's a ZG. They have a little plastic orb down there.
Yes.
That's the little nipple.
The reservoir. Right.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So go to the junkyard and get yourself a vacuum canister off of X and bolt it somewhere under the hood, plug it in, and they'll work perfect.
Right. Or just delete it altogether and block what the vacuum line that goes to it.
Yeah, you can block it off.
Yeah.
Made a lot of money on those. Does this work? Okay.
Yep.
How's it work? Oh, that's great. Thank you. There's $200 for your time. Thank you.
Yeah, that's a telltale with those Jeeps.
Mm-hmm. Shovel heads forever. I've always understood that a lean could hurt a motor, but too rich.
Couldn't?
Yeah, it's.
No, you're absolutely wrong, man.
Whether factory cars were so lean sometimes seems like the risk is not worth the reward. It's too mileage and emissions.
Too lean is detrimental. Too fat is equally detrimental, but in different ways, right? Too lean creates too high of a combustion chamber temperature, right? More prone to detonation, and more prone to heat damage in general. Too fat, the detrimental part there, aside from throwing power away, is that carbon will build up in the ring lands. Carbon's going to build up everywhere, okay? But it'll build up in the ring lands and it'll build up on the back face of the intake valves, right? So, because remember now, there is some reversion. Every time an intake valve opens and closes, there's a bit of reversion. And if the mixture is too fat, that reversion is fuel heavy. And what happens is you end up getting buildup on the back face of the intake valves. That is a big deal, right? The back face of the intake valve is the main heating element, the main vaporization point for the fuel coming into the combustion chamber. So you get atomized fuel coming out of the carburetor or injector, doesn't make any difference. You get atomized fuel coming out of that, getting drawn in down the runner, and the first place it finds any heat where those atomized droplets can be vaporized is the back face of the intake valve. When you run an engine too fat for too long, the back face of the intake valve becomes coated with carbon and it won't conduct the heat to that fuel coming in, and efficiency starts to drop off. Then on top of that, you have a situation where the carbon will start to build in the ring lands. See, now this is important because when the piston is on its way up, okay, so before you reach top dead center, spark plug lights it. One of the jobs of the rings and the ring land is that those pressures get behind the ring. So the piston's on its way up, the ring is dragging down, so the gap of the ring, or the gap of the ring in the land, not the gap this way, but the gap this way, is at the bottom of the ring land. Combustion gases get in there and push the ring out against the cylinder wall. And that's why you get those lines around the top of the cylinder, right? You know, the ridge. That's where that ridge comes from. Well, if you run it too fat for too long, those ring lands fill with carbon. And once they fill with carbon, the pressure can't get behind them and push the rings out, and you lose efficiency that way.
Yes.
Thank you. He's my fact checker. We all need fact checkers. He's my fact checker.
Full stop. Yes.
Yes. Did I leave anything out of there?
No.
Okay.
Able to Junkyard finding here in SoCal that junkyard prices are over the roof. Unless you need a part that is no longer available, buy it off Craigslist and Marketplace. Amazon is good for interior parts for OBS 250s. Any thoughts? Yes. Take a day trip and go up to Vegas because their junkyards are glorious up there.
Are they?
Yes. I'll tell you a story. When I was out there, first time my father-in-law came out, because he's a car guy and he's worked for Cummins for 30 years and he's always had trucks and hot rods and stuff like that. But he lives in Green Bay, Wisconsin all his life.
Okay.
So everything after 3 years is just
rotted.
So I take him to the pole part, which is massive. I mean, it's a 200 acre, and he's walking in and he's just like,
right.
Nothing wrong with that car. Nothing wrong with that car.
That's how it was when I first moved down here and I started hitting the junkyards. I was like, oh my God, this car is a virgin.
Yeah, they're not brown. Yeah.
You guys really have no idea the quality of the cars we have here to work with.
So, or able, there's not too many Land Cruisers in the pickup part that I was just at yesterday, but maybe for your OBS 250, shoot me an email, tell me what you need. You got my email address.
Chaz, isn't the lean and fat corresponding to also oil not protecting the engine? So if it's fat, one of the things it'll do is that gasoline, that fuel mist, the unburned fuel mist inside the combustion chamber sticks to the cylinder walls and it takes the oil coating out. So your crosshatch, the purpose of the crosshatch is to hold a microscopic oil film against the cylinder wall for the rings to ride on. If it's fat, and remember now, fat is a relative term because the fuel demand or how much fuel is burned in the chamber is going to vary with RPM and load. So at certain periods of time, it might just be moderately fat, let's say, as you're cruising, not enough to be really noticeable. But at other periods of time, that same excess amount of fuel is creating a fat situation or a fuel-laden situation that will wash that fuel out, the gasoline, out of the crosshatch, or wash the oil out of the crosshatch, and ring efficiency drops from that point. And then, of course, there's the extra blow-by, the fuel that gets past the rings and into the oil. So you got dilution factors. There's so much to this. There's so much to this.
Yeah, I almost think too rich is probably worse.
Then too lean.
I mean, too.
Yeah,
I mean, super rich and super lean. Okay, yeah, but if you're a couple points either way, I'd probably rather be lean because, like you said, you're going to wash all that fuel into the oil, and you're going to you burn up everything inside, and it's not going to cool because the oil cools the motor also. Inside of the engine will be cleaner, but your piston rings and valves will be junk.
Too lean will generally show itself better than too fat well in drivability, because if it's too lean, you get the popping, you get the hesitation, the stumbling and stuff like that. Where if it's too fat, it's just
lazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Green Bean. Have any thoughts about some of the giveaway cars some channels or magazines are doing? Specifically, do you know about the 62 gasser Sick the Mag is giving away? I don't. I've seen some of the stuff that they do over there, and really cool shit. I'm not familiar with that one. I haven't been paying attention lately. Do you know what one is?
I haven't seen Sick the Mag's giveaway.
Keep them going.
All right, it's right here.
I have to see what this vehicle is.
What do you think about performance improvement putting headers on a Flathead 6? I have a Hudson Flathead 6. I mean, if you're going to put headers on a Flat 6, the Hudson's the one to do it. Yeah. But the rest would kind of be a waste of time, in my opinion. And what do you? I mean, it'll make it sound better, but
scavenging, I think would you see, you need a lot more cam shift than
what it comes with.
You know what you should be looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
People who run junior dragsters. The junior dragster guys.
Yeah.
Because all of their engines are based on flatheads.
True.
They're based on the Briggs and Stratton.
Yeah.
Right? Who is he now? Chad. I would take that question and I would go to a forum or a page, maybe a Facebook group that deals with junior dragsters, because they would be able to answer the flatheads, how a flathead responds to header and what cam and so on and so forth much better than we could, because neither of us is really familiar with that.
And with the Hudson, the Hudson's kind of the hottest one of the era, but it's still.
But a flathead is a flathead.
Right. It's only going to flow so much.
Let me see here. YouTube. I have to go to YouTube.
Okay, go to YouTube.
I'll go to YouTube. YouTube.
Do you want to blow it up now or later? Probably later.
Okay. Sick.
Can you link the Bring a Trailer page that has the details on a 62 gasser if you're interested? He's pulling it up right now.
I'm looking for it right now.
Yeah.
Okay, this Sick the Mag. It's slow.
It's.
Oh wait, no, you know what? If I turn on the Wi-Fi, it'll go fast. Yes, now it'll go fast. Yes. Okay, so you have 57 Chevy giveaway. What did I say? That's a year ago.
Yeah. Rich B1 had a neighbor with a go-kart with a Briggs & Stratton 5 horsepower. He used to straight pipe the exhaust. It was unruly loud. Yes, I had that neat little go-kart of mine that was straight piped at the neighbor's house.
There's really no videos on here. That one 3 weeks ago, then one a year ago. It's like they don't post videos. I can't find it.
Yeah, put up the link to it. Old Cars and Music, Riff Raff Ruckus, the guy I used to work with, would mix water and brake fluid for decarbonizing cylinders.
the piston in the wind with the brake fluid. Water does it.
Yeah, you don't need
You
anything
don't need
but
brake
water.
fluid.
Yeah. Russ Peter Derelict, straight through mufflers like purple hornies or thrush makes every engine run better.
Purple hornies always sound good.
Bart Kowiak? First time here. 76 J10 258 one barrel 3-speed. I want to keep it very reliable, but how to get a bit more power.
76 G10,
Yeah.
258, one barrel 3-speed. I mean, a 2-barrel swap is probably the way to go. And because you're not looking for maximum full throttle performance, they sell adapters to go from the 1-barrel to a 2-barrel, like a Carter BBD. Or just get the 2-barrel intake manifold, because those 258s came with 2 barrels.
And exhaust. Yeah.
And exhaust. Yeah, just a free-flowing exhaust. Well, actually, to tell you the truth, you could use on that 258, you can use the whole top end from a Jeep 4-liter, right? So you can use the carbureted intake manifold, the 2-barrel intake manifold, which I actually happen to have one on the side of the house, on the side of the shop over here, and the header, because they make a really nice, it's like a tri-wide type
the
of
factory headers, yeah, beautiful on them.
Yeah, and that's what I've got on Mission Improbable. So that combination, use the 4-liter cylinder head, the header, and then a 2-barrel intake manifold, and that thing will surprise you, because it's surprising me every time I stick my foot in it.
980s.
So, yeah, it's ridiculous. 1530s is the same as a 1530.
Yeah.
It's out of a completely stock engine. What do we got?
Well, I don't, Oscar, don't understand that question.
Which one?
Oscar Gonzalez, how's the Artivode exhaust on a K-Code 1967 Mustangs?
That's the chambered pipe. Is that the same? Is that the chambered pipe, the same one that they used on the Z28, 67, 68 Z28?
Oh, that chambered exhaust pipe or whatever. Yeah.
I think they use that instead of a crossflow muffler
Yeah.
on those.
Because there's really no place to put a Mustang underneath, so they just use that chambered exhaust pipe.
Yeah, if I'm right about that, Oscar, is that what it is? Is it the chambered pipe? Because I've never heard of it as an Arvinode.
Ballast resistor garage. I have a 93 Saturn that I started to use a lot of oil last fall. Did the water down the throttle body trick, and it basically stopped smoking and using oil. I'll do it but once a month now.
Yeah, you don't really have to do it that often, but it doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Yes, chambered exhaust. Yeah, I'll tell you what. Okay, the chambered exhausts are good to a certain point, right? The problem with the chambered exhaust. So okay, on those cars with crossflow mufflers, like the Mustangs and like the Camaros of that era, it's a step up from the crossflow muffler through most of the RPM range. But if you with a stock engine, but if you get the thing to really start breathing and you start moving to the higher RPM range, then it's a real hindrance, because it just like a glass pack, right? There's so much resistance, there's so much turbulence going through the pipe, which is what quiets it down, right? That it really starts to become a problem with higher RPM flow. So is it better than the cross flow? To an extent. If I was going to build something that was like, okay, I'm going to be shifting this thing at like $7 grand, right? And pushing some serious like atmosphere through it. Okay. I wouldn't be using the chambered exhaust.
Just a straight pipe.
Just a straight pipe.
Yeah.
Okay, Mexican spec says we're sold on Bring a Trailer to the guy who owns Sick the Mag, Tom Bailey. It's an older listener. Oh wait, Tom Bailey I think has his own.
Does Tom Bailey have his own channel, or is it Sick the Mag channel?
Well, I'll just look up Tom Bailey.
Ted Bailey. Okay. Well, somebody Mexican spec put a link to it.
I like that guy
in the chat. Yeah, Bring a Trailer 62 Chevy Gasser. Joe K. I have chambered on a Chevy small block stock engine. No high RPM power, but it sounds great anyway.
What is it?
He's got a chambered exhaust on just a stock 350 Chevy. I don't have any power, but yeah, it sounds
that sounds awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, here it is. See, it's blown 427, straight axle.
That's pretty cool.
It looks like it's going to be a handful.
Yeah, it's up high and it's.
Well, that's all high. It's got a freaking tire on the thing.
Yeah, the tiny tire on it with a blown 427. It's just.
Yeah, well, I tell you what, Tom Bailey has bigger balls than I do, man, because I don't think that's going to drive down the track happy at all. Damn.
It's got an altered wheelbase.
That can't be right. That can't be right. That's got to be a. No, it is right.
Yeah, it's got the little skinnies on the back that fit in them. Tiny, dinky. Why would you build a gasser in the front up and just not radius the rear fenders?
I don't know, but that does look hairy.
Yeah. That high and that tippy at speed? Yeah, no thanks.
If that's got blown big block Chevy power. I mean, that's got to be dancing and skating all over the track. Yeah. But maybe that's what he's looking for. You know,
get his blood going.
Always an adventure. Whee! Yeah. My car never does the same thing twice.
Mm-hmm.
Sold for $27,000. Oof.
Supercharged 435 turbo 400 with the gear benders.
Yeah, it's meant to be driven, I guess.
Yeah, like a drag and drive car.
Yeah.
Yeah. It'd like be racing a shopping cart. Yeah, pretty much.
Put on a good show, and what was that? Behind the Heart.
And
something smiles upon fate, I guess.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, fate smiles upon you. Russ Peter Derelict's former boss had an English three-door taxi that was swapped to a 455 Olds Turbo 400, basically uncontrollable if you mashed the gas pedal to the floor.
Good pronunciation. Barney's good enough, thanks.
Blown street cars are definitely a thing.
Mm-hmm. Franz H. Have you found a muffler combo that flows okay and is somewhat quiet, or is it is loud to a certain point?
I never really. I mean,
you don't even like mufflers.
What do you use in a muffler? You know, seriously, I don't think I owned a muffler until I was like 26. So I don't even know.
The only ones I've had good luck with the Dynamax mufflers, because they're just basically a flow through, but they're a rectangle. So they're pretty good. They sound nice. They're they don't drone. Yeah. For like a street car, that's what I had on the Cobra, and I was pretty happy with them. Had a nice sound to them.
I mean, for quiet, I back in the old days, I used to use the Hush Thrushes, which is basically a turbo muffler, the Corvette turbo muffler, which is like historically known as like the good quiet muffler. I had a pair of Corvette turbos on my '67 Charger, with a two and a quarter inch pipe, and then I went to 2.5 inch inside pipe when I redid the car, and I've got a pair of Flowmasters on there now, which don't sound bad. I'm not really crazy about the Flowmasters sound, but they're not terrible.
Do you remember the Sonic turbo mufflers?
Sure.
I love those things.
Yeah.
I got a stainless set of those on the shelf that I'm just waiting for the right car to put them on. Yeah. There was this was probably 5-6 years ago, and I'm just flipping through eBay, just scrolling, and a guy in New Jersey had them brand new in the box, and I'm like, oh, it's just buy now. Didn't have anything to put them on or plans for them, but I'm like,
I'll build a car around these mufflers.
Yeah, exactly.
I've done stranger shit than that.
Way back when, I used them on everything. I loved them. Tony, are you going to eliminate the mufflers on Scribbles?
Oh. One of the reasons I bought Scribbles is because it's got the 273 Commando exhaust on it. So those early A bodies didn't have any provision for a dual exhaust. Even the high performance ones had a single exhaust. So the exhaust system that's on that car is a reproduction of the Commando exhaust, which is a 2.5 inch inside pipe. It's got a Y pipe and then 2.5 inches to the back. And then at the back, it's got a resonator and that big rectangular exhaust tip. And it sounds awesome and they flow good. So no, I definitely wouldn't be eliminating that. That's one of the reasons I bought the car.
Green beans. Any interest in doing something like 24 hours of lemons, cheap $500 car racing? No. Because this amount of safety stuff that you have to put in the car.
What he just said. That is such a scam. When they first started the 24 hours of lemons, I was like, yes, let's do a car for this. This is awesome, right? Have you read the rules for these things?
Yes, someone we know has a car, and it's basically a NASCAR cage inside the thing, and a fire suppression system, and this to turn off the electricity, and this, and then it was like.
What, on top of that, you have to have X amount of drivers for the car. It can't be one driver.
Right.
And each driver has to have their own fire suit.
Yes.
Which is like another $1,200.
Right. You can't just go on Amazon and buy a racing suit. It's got to be a 5-ply racing suit.
Yeah, you're talking about thousands of dollars just for fire suits. No, there is no such thing as that $500. No, lemons is a scam. Otherwise, I would have done it because it's a tremendously cool,
amount of fun. But it's not worth the squeeze.
It's fun for rich people, like really rich people. I'm just gonna piss away $20,000 on this $500
car and call it all safety equipment, so it doesn't count towards it. Yeah,
right.
Yeah. Oh, I sold the wheels off this car that were $7,000, and that's paid for my motor. Yeah.
This sounds like a great range video.
We can go on.
Yeah, I've said everything I needed to say about it. Yeah, it's a shame because the concept is really cool, but they really overkill it with the safety stuff. It's over the top.
Yeah.
For the speeds those cars are running, I don't see it.
On a closed course.
On a closed course, they're limited. So I mean, you go to a local dirt track over here, and the cars have half the safety stuff.
Right.
It's just overkill. It's just way overkill.
Same thing, yeah. Like Pirate Greg says, yeah, derby cars went the same way too.
Yeah.
Used to go get a station wagon and knock the glass out of it, and there you go.
I mean, I understand. You don't want to see anybody ever get hurt. I get that, but there is such a thing as overkill, and these places all have gone like every sanction, every type of racing has just gone way
lawyered up and ruined everything. Right. Yeah, took all the fun out of everything. You're better off. You would be cheaper to buy yourself 5 acres of land somewhere,
Yeah.
rent a bulldozer for the day, clear it, and then drive whatever you want in a big ass circle and invite your friends and just have a good time. And
Which would be a great.
oh yeah,
That would be a great thing.
if John would clear this land back,
We could go clear it ourselves. We could clear it if you want. You got something you want to run through there, and get some mini bikes or whatever. We can have a lot of fun.
I wonder how much it is to rent a nice Komatsu for the day.
He's got.
Well, he's
Dude, you name it, he's in the construction business. They build subdivisions.
yeah.
You name it, they got it.
Yeah. All right. Well, tell me you need to borrow something with a big blade for a day or so. A couple 100 gallons of diesel.
Joe Cool, it's a world run by lawyers and safety sallies.
Mm-hmm.
And people buy the farm anyway. And that doesn't mean I'm down on safety. That I don't, you know.
Right.
I believe me when I tell you, I'm safety conscious. I understand. You know, I've picked the body parts off of drag strips. I know firsthand why safety is important.
Yeah, like Barrow's the
But it's
same.
overkill.
Yeah, like anything, someone probably broke a fingernail driving in a Le Mans race
Yep.
and sued the promoters for millions of dollars.
Wayne says something about the Silver State Challenge. Does something like that interest you? It does, but for right now, I'm just life circumstances. I'm kind of stuck to home base. Maybe in the future I could look at stuff like that, but for right now, I've got to stick kind of close
And
to home.
that's another kind of rich guys.
And that's another rich guy's thing. But see, with stuff like that, though, you get sponsors, right? Like there's companies and there's like Lemons. Just nobody sponsors Lemons. Like
Right.
this furniture store will jump in there.
Right, yeah.
It's not going to do it.
Mhm.
For something like the Silver State Classic, you get some serious loot in there. So I would be interested. Yeah, but just not in the cards for me right now. Introducing the cult dirt track.
Mhm. I mean, that would be endless fun and content because we could just go buy every car missing parts and body panels and, who cares?
You know, the thing is, right? Every drag strip, well, okay, not the big sanction tracks, okay?
Mhm.
But every freaking drag strip that we frequent, okay, has a safety inspection that consists of give me $25 and fill out this card. Okay?
Right.
And the racers are smart enough to know what they need. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's like okay, Mr. Darwin is going to step in occasionally.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? But you look at all of these outlaw events. You look at like War in the Woods and all these, right? And,
And George Ray's where there's grass in the middle. Yeah.
right. And it's just like, oh, you brought it to the track? Send it. Good luck, right? Because they know that most racers, the vast majority of racers, have enough common sense to equip their car for the stuff that they need. The only thing I see lacking a lot in the faster cars is like fire safety. That worries me a little bit because I see a lot of these guys driving without gloves, without any fucking, face,
Face socks and
So that's a little, I think that most of these racers today with the faster, like no prep cars and stuff, I think they take fire safety a little for granted.
I think they can slack on it when they're at a local track too.
When the shit is on fire, the shit's on fire.
Oh, I know. That's what it doesn't make any sense. I know. So I got a roll bar in my truck,
Green Bean, thank you for the super chat. I go back to work thanks to the few minutes of distraction.
There you go.
Thank you for joining us and thank you for the super chat.
Yeah.
Who
knew green beans would be good?
Green beans is the best. Funny coincidence. Want to hear a really funny coincidence?
Yes.
So Kathy and I are both trying to we were watching our
you're counting your
watching the intakes. And last night, of all things, she says, I gotta eat something. I'm starving. I'm dying. So I says, just leave me. So she goes and she gets a can of green beans. Right, I know, right? And I'm like, green beans? This is like 24 hours ago right now, okay? It says green beans? She says, shut up, right? And she starts eating her green beans.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the dogs, all 4 dogs, are hanging over her, right? Listen to me. They loved the green beans, all of them. She ate half the green beans, and the dogs ate the other half of the green beans, and they were like all over it. They loved the green beans
Because it was something new and different.
I have no idea.
Chewy, thick. Yeah. Hey, well, Dr. Art, please show Tony Andy Warhol's BMW art car as an inspiration for scribbles. Maybe have his grandkids can do all the scribble. Your grandkids go
I
up
don't
there.
want to go too far with it. We don't want to go too far with it.
Okay.
Barrows. I bought a 5-point from a friend for $20 because they just added I know this year they look and feel brand new, probably never seen more than a couple of hours of sunlight, and he can't use them. I know all about it.
Yes.
Listen, when I quit Top Fuel Racing, right? This was back in 1999.
Mm-hmm.
1999, right? You're talking about the belts, okay? Belts had nothing, right? Everything we had to have certified, right? We had to have the clutch can certified. We had to have the flywheel certified. We had to have not the motor plate. The wheels had to be certified. Obviously, the chassis had to be certified. The belts, of course. I forget all of the things that were on the list of things that had to be certified, right, on an annual basis. It was nearly $5,000
Of
for certification.
Of just bullshit.
Just the bullshit, right?
Mm-hmm.
And shipping all of this stuff off and having it shipped back and paying for the return ship.
Yeah, to get a sticker.
To get a bunch of stickers. And then when they did tech inspection, so help me, and this is one of the reasons I quit, okay, because we crashed the Top Fuel car. This was at Whitechester, right?
Mm-hmm.
Put the driver in the woods, right? Lost a bunch of fingers and just made a total mess of shit. The tech inspection for that car that day consisted of the IHRE tech inspector, right? Consisted of the I can't say enough bad words about this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is what made me walk away from drag racing. The IHRE tech inspector came over, didn't look at the car, just wanted to see all of the certification.
Yeah, you got your paperwork in order.
Just wanted to see the paperwork. Could care less about the car,
Mm-hmm.
right? And the car had issues that a tech inspector should have spotted.
Where it was
And I noticed because I have tech cars myself.
Yeah.
Right? When you're racing and when you're it's two different things. When you're racing, you try to get away with things. And you notice the job of the tech person to reel you back. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Well, we didn't have anybody to reel us back.
They just wanted the stickers.
They just wanted to see the stickers, right? And I get when we cleared up the wreckage, we piled what was left of it on the back of the flatbed. The guy came over and he was like, "What happened?" And I fucking unloaded on him like I don't even want to talk about it right now because I feel my blood pressure
going up.
going.
Anyway, Oscar, super chat.
Thank you, Oscar. Would it cost a lot to start a rare auto parts reproduction manufacturing business? Licensing required? Thoughts? Dude, you live in the age of the free-for-all? Just go for it.
Figure out a part, call somebody in China, and have them build as many as you want.
Seriously? Just go for it. It's over, right? You know, the old ways of like, okay, you have to honor this patent and so on. It's bullshit now. It's a free-for-all. Make it, send it, do your people a favor and make these things and get it to them at a reasonable price.
Cast it, 3D print it, have it made in China, whatever you got to do. Just do it.
Yep.
We got people talking about grape beans.
And border collies. Dari Kuda, I once threw 3/4 of a pound of rancid butter in the bin, and my border collie sniffed it out and ate the lot. Dogs are wired. They're scavengers. What we smell as rot, they smell as like, delicious.
Lunch. Yeah. That's the thing. I'm convinced the dog that I got, Misty, was living on the street for a while because she sees a bug, she's on it.
Yeah.
Protein, yeah. I brought, because I rarely have fast food, but I had to drop some stuff at the post office the other morning. I came back, I had a couple sausage and cheese biscuits in a Hardee's bag. Oh my God! I thought she was gonna. You have to pry her up the ceiling. She smelled that and then, oh, Hardee's. Ah! So yeah.
Don't let her eat that crap.
No, I didn't. No, but I'm like, no, these are mine. Sorry. But yeah, she was just. I mean, the eyes got like this big. Ooh, because she street dog can smell Hardee's apparently.
Well lubed. Oh, the border collie after eating all the rice and butter. I'm sure.
Hey, run some nitro through your Jeep, Tony.
Yeah.
We're doing a traction now.
Okay. Yeah, I got no traction. I mean, pump gas. End of time. Will a new mechanical fuel pump on a Ford, should I prime it? I killed a new one.
Yeah, you shouldn't have to.
You shouldn't have to, no. I mean, it wouldn't hurt to spray like some WD or PB blaster in there if the rubber's been sitting for a long time.
Your pump was probably a piece of crap to start with. That's why you killed it.
Yep.
But now you don't need to prime them.
Cogito Guervexo.
Okay.
Where do you guys come up with these names? Have Ford-style fender-mounted starter solenoids gone way down in reliability? Yes, they have.
Yes, they're all.
They stick. I've come across a couple of them.
Oh yeah, they stick. Yeah, and you can. It doesn't matter. You whack them with a hammer. You just gotta take it out and smash.
Yep.
Yeah.
You gotta rip the battery cable off.
Mm-hmm. And that's not a new problem. That started 30 years ago.
That's been a while.
Yeah. It's another part. If you see an old Ford pickup or something like that in the junkyard, it's gonna start a solenoid. Grab it.
You have to start a solenoid. So what have we got going on, Dr. Art?
I don't know. Well, you asked me, what have you got going on?
Oh God, I don't even know.
I know you don't plan much, but
I try to wing it. What have I got going on?
What do you got coming up in the next 7 days? Because I'm probably going to be out of town. Because there's
Baby? He's going to be a grandfather.
Here's what I figure. Because Friday is the 23rd, if I'm doing math right, which means if she's born on Friday, she's a Virgo, not a Leo.
That's Kathy's birthday, by the way.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the 23rd.
All right. Well, if I'm in town, I'll make her cookies. But I think little Eugenia wants to be born a Virgo, so she's just going to chill out till Friday, so she can be a Virgo like her grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah. So she didn't want to be a Leo. You got a couple Leos in the family, and they're all in nut jobs. So.
Thumper can't believe he shaved his back for this. I'm sorry you went through that, bro. You could have just left it.
Did you hire someone?
He must have, because I don't think he can reach. Can you reach the middle? I can't reach my back. My shoulders are jacked up.
Mm-hmm.
Firefly knew equals never ever worked before. That's true.
Tony, you should name the Goldwing Mrs. Jones. They've got a good thing on despite Uncle testing inversion to opposed cylinders.
I don't have any problem with opposed cylinders. I like pancake motors.
That motorcycle sounds nice.
Doesn't it sound good?
Yeah.
Zing, zing.
Mm-hmm.
So I think tomorrow, because I'm going to be doing work in the shop that I don't want to do. This is bad, miserable work.
Okay.
So I think tomorrow I'm actually going to take all my motorcycles and I'm just going to do a walkthrough of the fleet. From the little
zinger to all the way to the Goldwing?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
I think I'm going to do that just to kill some time while I do the...
to put off coming to the shop to do the ugly work?
Valve body, yeah. So I got a manual valve body kit from John Cope. It came in the mail today. And then I realized just how much I despised. I should have just put the whole damn valve body, but but get a kit. Get a kit. So
don't buy the valve body so you can just go.
I'm an idiot, but I've got to do that.
And that's never a clean job.
It just sucks.
Yeah, because the ATF is one of those fluids that never really goes away. You could have a cooler up on the shelf for 100, 150 years.
Yeah.
That's dry, and as soon as you tip it, it's on your pants. Yeah.
Russ Peter Dogs, is the Goldwing new enough to have the reverse gear in the transmission? It has reverse, but it's not in the transmission. The reverse is, it uses the starter for reverse. You throw a lever, and what it does is it makes a solid connection between the starter and the drivetrain of the bike, okay, the output shaft of the bike. Then when you hit the button, it spins the starter in reverse. It spins the starter backwards, and that's how reverse works on those. It's not actually a gear inside the transmission. Mark Sauvé is saying, I did a valve body kit in a C4 a long time ago. The instructions were clear as mud.
Oh yeah, those old shift improver kits that you buy from.
Yeah.
Oh, those were just shit.
But that's the same. It's the same basic concept.
Did Cope give you instructions?
Yeah, they came with the instructions in the package. It's just it's change the spring, drill this out, file this down, put this in.
Fuck yeah, you should.
This check bolt to here, drill that hole.
That's what he's there for. Just send it back and say sorry, John. Just send me a valve.
No, I'm determined. I'm gonna do it because listen. Not everybody who watches the channel can just piss away $400 on a friggin' valve body, but they can spend $100.
They can spend 2 days under a gasket chasing springs and check balls.
Well, listen, I'll tell you what. Time people tend to have, or they can make time a lot easier than they can make money.
Yeah.
So I try to do everything with that in mind.
I have neither lately, time or money. It's
it's hard. I know.
Yeah.
I know. Oscar Gonzalez, thank you for the super chat. 1999 Ford Taurus had the oil filter mounted over the exhaust header, and below that is a starter solenoid. Removing the filter unleashes oil all over the starter. Any method to prevent this mess? Poke the filter from below. Cardboard. You use a piece of cardboard. That's how we used to do them.
Yeah, just under the filter, and just have a drain past the starter.
Yeah. Just take a piece of cardboard, stick it under the filter, point it at a drain plug, a drain pan, and then just unscrew the filter and let the oil roll down the cardboard.
And then throw the cardboard away.
Yeah. Thumper says he has a lot more time than money.
Mm-hmm.
Except if he kicks the farm. So, yeah, well, don't die, Thumper.
Oh, and Bob's Chop Shop up in Canada, he's just foaming at the mouth to see you do this valve body on YouTube.
Well, I'm gonna warn you right now. I'm gonna tell you ahead of time right now. I'm not doing it step by step. It's just not gonna happen. Okay. First, because what I'm doing to that valve body doesn't apply to all valve bodies and all different modifications. Instead, I'm going to do an overview of valve bodies and the basic thing. You see what I'm saying? But I'm not going to do a step-by-step. Here's how you make a manual valve body for the price of torque link. That's something that Jamie from Dead Dodge Garage should be doing because he does Mopar-specific stuff, where I try to do general stuff and use Mopars as an example. So I'm not going to do a step-by-step, but I am going to do an overview of valve bodies and how they work because it is a great mystery to people. So,
but it'll be a good test drive video.
That'll be at the track.
You're not going to just
haul it
ass down this back road?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Russ Peter Derricks is asking, is there anything cardboard doesn't make easier?
No. It's great for fires. It's great for everything.
Yeah.
It's awesome.
What's this now? Jeff Rummel. Got a tick or loud tick in my chamber exhaust on a 1983 Trans Am. $700 exhaust that is making me mad. Once the car is warmed up to temp, gone. What could be making the noise in the exhaust? If it changes with temperature, it's going to be probably the exhaust where the exhaust manifold bolts to the head. That's generally the one because as it expands, it'll fill a gap, right? That's what's happening. So you've got a gap so it's not going to be in the pipe itself. It's going to be something that expands with heat and then cuts off am I about right?
Also, I've had this on like V8 Explorers and stuff like that. I believe that one, I could be wrong, has an EGR tube. And those little tubes like to crack right down at that big nut that you have to tighten down on the manifold.
On what is it now? On 83 Trans. Oh yeah.
Because I believe those, I mean,
that has that air injection. Yeah.
Yeah.
That has the air injection spider.
Yes.
On both sides.
Yes.
With a one-way check valve.
Yeah.
Check the one-way check valves. Listen to those. So if that's got the exhaust, I think that it has on top of the manifolds are like a spider. It's like 4 tubes.
4 tubes for the air injection.
For the air injection, and they have one-way check valves.
And a lot of those tubes will crack over time because they're thin.
Yep.
And if you got one that's cracked, and after it heats up, it'll go there. So you put a $700 exhaust on it and still make the freaking noise.
Yeah.
Your best bet, what I would do, I would start with taking off that spider, plugging all those 8 little holes with little grub screws or whatever the thread is on it.
Yeah.
Take off the air pump, and then see if you have noise.
Yes, the dreaded EGR pipe.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it has that too. The air tubes and the EGR pipe.
Yeah.
Right, Rich. AIR tubes, like super skinny headers facing the wrong way.
That's right. Yeah, and they leak. Yep.
Neutron performance. I don't know if you two noticed at the track testing out the Jeep, but I noticed somebody you guys should probably address immediately on that Jeep before taking it back to the track. What is it, Neutron performance?
Yeah, let us know.
Yeah.
If you're seeing something that's...
Yeah, no mysteries. Tell us. Just spit it out.
Yeah. We have no feelings. It's fine.
Yeah, I really have no feelings or a sense of ego, shame, or pride left. I mean, done. Go ahead.
It's a $1,500 Jeep. Yeah. Tell us.
Okay, Jeff Rummel is saying tubes and gone, no air injection, just manifolds. Then check the manifold. The leak is probably going to be in the manifold because the manifold is the thing that expands the most. So if the leak's when it's cold and then the leak goes away as it warms up, it's something expanding and closing a gap. So look for the points where there's the most expansion and you'll probably find your problem. Or, hey, I give you one, okay? And don't get carried away with this because you got a catalytic, you should have a catalytic converter in that car. So don't get carried away with this. But while the engine is running, when it's cold, right? You just started up. While it's running, take some automatic transmission fluid, right? And pour it down the injector, trickle it down the injector while you give it gas, while it's ticking. And if there's any leak,
Smoke.
Yep, the smoke is gonna blow white smoke like there's no tomorrow, and you'll find the leak visually that way. But don't get carried away because you can kill your catalytic converter. You can do it a little bit, but don't do it.
Yeah, because you'll plug it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Seafoam was fun for that too.
It'll smoke like that?
Oh yeah.
Okay. Seafoam. Dr. Art saying seafoam.
Yeah.
Oh, Neutron Performance saying it's slow. Just messing with you guys.
Mm.
Dude, it's running the equivalent of 1530s. It's a stock Jeep. Okay. Go look at what the quarter-mile test times were for cars like the 383 automatic Roadrunner or 396 automatic Chevelle or any of those, right? You know, a 390 Torino, right? Go look at what the quarter-mile test times were for those cars back in the day. And this Jeep is not only running with them, it's running like ahead of them. And I'll tell you right now, that thing hooks 100 times better on pavement on the street than it does at the track. So it's like, that thing is going to embarrass a lot of people. We're getting there.
Right. And look at this if you want to amaze yourself. A 96 Mustang, a 96 Firebird Camaro, fill in the blank. They didn't run 15s. Especially up the Mustang when they went to that 4.6, you know. The Jeep will walk it.
Basically, what you said is right. At 1530, right? You get the jump on somebody, right, on the street, which is a lot easier to get somebody on the street than it is at the track, right? Running off Christmas tree. You get the drop on somebody, right? That Jeep at that speed hooked up will embarrass a lot of muscle cars.
And they won't expect it because it's a freaking Jeep.
Right, exactly. Exactly.
Who's driving the Jeep with no muffler? Oh, he wants to race? Oh, okay, this will be fun. Yeah.
That actually sounds like it's on a mission despite the ET.
It's so much, you'd have no idea how much fun it is to drive the
Yep.
thing. Driving slow cars, slow cars fast is fun.
Okay. See, I want to do a whole video about this, right? Because
Okay.
this is something that I think about a lot. Right? So it's running in the 8th mile. Let's go with the 8th mile. I was running 980s in the 8th mile.
Okay.
It's okay, well, that's 15-second quarter mile. But the rate of acceleration, once you get past, so in other words, it has a dead 60 foot.
Yeah.
It has a horrible 60 foot. Once you're past that 60 foot, you're at the top of first, you hit second, and it's pulling through second.
Yeah.
It's way faster than the numbers indicate,
Yes.
right? The rate of acceleration of that Jeep is astonishing for what it is. Numbers be damned. The numbers are what they are because it's so dead off the initial hit, off the starting line. Once that mass is rolling and the motor's up on a pipe, oh, geez, you would not believe how quick that it has the same rate of acceleration as a mid to high 13-second car.
That's what I was going to say. It feels like a 13-second car once you drive it.
Yep. All of the ET is right there on the starting line. So don't judge a book by its cover.
Here's a Silver Train, 1962 T-Bird, 390. It runs and drives fine. After sitting, it won't start unless you pour gas down the carb. I pulled the carb, filled it with water, and let it sit overnight. Didn't lose a drop. Suggestions. You probably,
You pull the carbon filled with water and let it sit overnight.
okay. But
Oh,
what about are the squirters working?
well, no, here, Silver Train. So, okay, so let me explain what happens now, right? Silver Train. I've done videos on this, but it's worth repeating because it's a common problem. A lot of people go through this. Back in the carburetor days, the fuel systems, the tank and the carburetor were both vented to the atmosphere. So gasoline was formulated so it wouldn't evaporate quickly, all right? So when they went to closed fuel systems, the evap systems where, the gas tank is, and the fuel injection, they didn't have to formulate gasoline so it wouldn't evaporate anymore. So what happens with these older cars is that you drive them, you shut them off. They're hot when you shut them off. A lot of the fuel boils off, becomes vapor as it's sitting there cooling off. And then overnight, the rest of it will evaporate out of the carburetor. So now when you go to start it the next day,
You get nothing.
you got to crank to get the carburetor to get the bowls full again. It's a very, very common problem. You don't have a problem with the carburetor. It's just today's gasoline is not formulated to work with carbureted systems. As long as you know what the problem is. Now, a lot of people who don't want to be bothered with the cranking or priming or anything like that will put a small electric fuel pump, like a clacker, someplace between the tank and the fuel pump in the car. And so what they'll do is after the car sits for a couple of days, they'll turn on that electric pump, prime the system, and then shut that pump off, and then run off the mechanical pump. So what you're experiencing there is very normal. It's not a big deal. Just live with it.
Mark Sauvé, 15.3 is very respectable. 1990 Mustang LX50 went 1470s back in the day, but this is a 96. So the 96 Mustang was not that fast.
Yeah.
Because they were bigger and they had that
Yeah.
4.6 gasping for air.
My 87 LX using nothing but stock parts, which was the inspiration for Project Mission Improbable, ran 1340s with completely stock parts. I'm not saying that the Jeep is going to do that, but that was. But nevertheless, 1530s is faster. Go look at the quarter mile road test times from classic muscle cars from the day, and you'll see that 1530 puts it right in the middle of like the second half of the
right.
pack.
Yeah, the 440, this and that. And
Yep. Russ Beater derelicts. Tony knows this from his writer days. Cars coming from a corporate for testing, accidentally having steel shim head gaskets in a super stock cabinet, always stress factory performance on this. Well, that by the time I came along in the 1980s, that really wasn't done anymore. But it is true of cars that were done, especially from Chrysler, in the 1968, 69, 70.
oh, that's a magazine car. Let's pull this off to the side. Yeah, let Jimmy get after it for a day or so before we send it.
Those days were gone by the time I came along, but that was a common thing.
And FUBAR.
The ever helpful FUBAR. Put a
link to the merch.
Your merch.
Yes.
You're wearing your merch right now?
I'm wearing one of them, yeah. It'll give you click on the hat, you click on the shirt, you go right underneath there. It says click link here to go to the site, and you can buy all the t-shirts, sweaters, hats, and everything you need.
Yep. And you can represent Dr. Arts. People will think you're an aristocrat. You walk into a place wearing Dr. Arts merch.
Right.
You're a higher level, bro. You're a higher level when you wear Dr. Arts stuff.
It's an elite club. You get 5 t-shirts, you get a secret decoder ring.
Let's see. Mustang 97 Mustang was 15 seconds in the quarter mile. Oh.
Okay.
Zero saying, get your biggest, dickiest shirt.
Yeah.
The Big Richard shirt.
The Big Richard shirt's doing well. If there's a couple people that order them, they were delayed a little bit, but they are shipping them out now. So that's why I haven't had one for 2 weeks but they're on the way, and they're available in multiple colors and styles.
Nice.
Men's and women's, everyone. Christmas is just around the corner.
Santa Claus himself will be wearing a Big Richard.
Right. Go and get yourself, your dad or your grandpa, a Big Richard shirt.
All of your living relatives.
Yes.
Just get them one.
Yeah. And have a Big Richard Christmas.
Yeah, even mom likes a Big Richard.
Yes, mom loves a Big Richard.
Yes,
just ask her. And then you can have a Big Richard. Well, if they do it soon enough, they could have a Halloween, Thanksgiving, and Christmas.
Nothing scarier than a Big Richard shirt.
Right. Ask your mom how scared she was when she first seen a Big Richard.
We've gone there. All right.
Okay.
Thumper, 98 Formula Trans Am was a mid 13-second stone stock. Okay. Mike Boger, Tony, have you checked out the new 6-cylinder in the Wagoneer? I'm terrified of that. That's Chrysler trying to do a 2JZ, and it just is not going to work. Chrysler, Stellantis. Yeah, I'm terrified of the damn thing. I don't see any longevity. I don't see potential for longevity. It's just an ill-conceived thing. It's an overworked little engine. No, not good. Bill McKeisker, thank you for the super chat. UTG, you have a time machine and are going to the streets in Mission Improbable. What year are you going to, and what car are you going to challenge to really hurt some feelings? What time machine, bro? It's destined to hit Mexico like soon. They have every Saturday night. They have a little get together over here, not too far from my house, and I think we're going to roll over there and try to pick some trouble with maybe a racer or two just to warm up. No, I don't need a time machine. The time is right now. We're going to go take that thing out and have some fun with it. Which is the beauty of a car like that, because what unsuspecting modern muscle.
Oh, what Racer's ego with the wing and the lowered and the thing and the boom boom is going to, you challenge him, he's going to be like, I got you. Yeah.
And you do the same thing I do with my Mustang. Because what I would do with my Mustang is I would call people out with it, all right? Mm-hmm. But I would leave the car, right? I park it off on the side, and leave the hood open, and leave the choke open, and I leave both doors open, right? Because right away, people are like, you got a bottle in that thing, right? There's the car. You find a bottle, I'll give you $100 bill right now.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll go and they'll swarm the car and looking under seats. And they're feeling this and feeling that, looking for lines and shit like that. And there's nothing. That's exactly what we're going to do with that Jeep. Leave the hood open, leave the hatch open, leave the doors open, and then start calling people out. You know?
There you go.
You got a bottle in that thing. I got $100 says you can't find it.
Right. And another 100 when you lose.
Well, that's
Yeah. Yeah.
Andrew Button. I had 2 Grand Nationals at different times in shit air, but they were low 14s here. They had to be treated very carefully, the Grand Nationals, right? Because heat really, really killed those things. So if you just ran them, I know because I played with those cars. If you just drove it off the street, hot, no prep, no nothing, right? You just drove it off the street, pulled up the stage lanes, and went. Even the intercooled cars were like a high 14-second car at best, and you're most likely going to get like a 15.0, 15 out of it.
Mm-hmm.
If you took the time to thoroughly cool the top half of that motor, did a quick burnout, right? Just clean the tires real quick, stage it real quick before the top end has any chance to build heat. That's when you'll get your low 14s and high 13s out of them. Neutron Performance. Question though, I understand we got new tires on the Jeep, but why a street tire? She's still spinning on the track. Granted, it needs limited slip, but with a proper tire, I think one-way appeal would benefit. I have slicks I could throw on it. I got a couple of pairs sitting right here I could put on it, but then it's not a street drivable Jeep. I don't want to just create numbers that'll only exist at a drag strip. I want to create performance that I can use anywhere, anytime. You see what I'm saying? So yes, I could right now, the next time we go out, I could put a pair of slicks on it. I could weld the spider gears, but I wouldn't even have to weld the spider gears. I could put a set of slicks on it with drag radials. I have both, and go run it, and it'll make astounding times. But that's not the car that I'm going to be rolling up to somebody on the street with. You see what I'm saying? So I don't want to cheat. I want the honest performance out of what will be used the way it's going to be used. Does that make any sense?
Right, because if you roll up on slicks, you're either you're hiding something, or you're a poser.
Yes. Yes.
So we don't want to be either. This way it's, you got your high sense, chin it there and back, and you still hurt their feelings. That's, more gratification.
Rich B, the progress of Mission Inconceivable is going to be fun to watch. I'm having fun with it now. You having fun with it? They don't understand how fun this thing is to drive. They really don't. Let's see. Oh, Jesus. Look what time it is.
Yeah. Well, we went on early, so we gave them their 2 hours of...
Well, we'll have a few more minutes then.
Yeah.
Let's see. He needs an LSD. I know. I just haven't gone to a pull apart to go hunting for one. And that's besides the point. It's fun to try to make this
work with what you got.
Exactly. Mark Sauvé, get a dirt track tire groover and groove the slicks and grind off for race use only. Good night, Eric Swenson.
Mm-hmm.
Neutron, I see what you're saying, Tony. I understand now. Yeah, really. We could, if it was just a matter of creating like, oh my God, numbers, we could probably do that pretty easily, but I really want it to be an honest thing. That's why when we took it to the track the other day, right? He was like, well, let's cool it off before. And I was like, no, let's run it just the way it came off the, you see what I'm saying?
Because it was on the first one, it was smoking hot.
I was really hot. I had just come off the road. And then we hot lapped it. And that's when I ran the 984, it was like literally hot lap. I just went right back around.
Aaron take temps into 120s, 130s, easy.
Yeah. So, if we had cooled it off, just let it sat with the hood open for, let's say, 15 or 20 minutes, just to let the heat dissipate away from the intake manifold, and then, quick burnout, stage it real quick and go, probably a 15 or 20 horsepower difference.
Oscar wants to know where you buy your orange tang.
I have it shipped in from Colorado. There's a Tang Colt right outside of Denver.
Under the airport?
No.
That's not
That's
those
a Denver
guys?
International. No,
Oh,
those are space aliens.
Okay.
No, there's a Tang Colt right outside of Denver, and I have them send it to me.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like my guy I get coffee from in Texas. Same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah.
Let's see, Carbide Jones. That's a cool name. I like that. Carbide Jones. It was fun. Thank you, Carbide.
Oh, you're welcome.
Let's see. I can't read anymore.
No.
I think I'm done.
Well, they're talking about Robin astronauts for their Tang and stuff like that.
So, Dr. Art, what do you want to plug?
Merch. Go buy merch.
Go buy his merch.
I'll have links up on the website that go to the eBay store. So if you need miscellaneous Chrysler pulleys or a vintage MSD timing retard box, or got it all. Or if you need a JTEC Plus or you need an LS computer, I have many. Hit me up. We'll get you going.
There you go. I smoke cigarettes.
Yeah.
So
that might be a good t-shirt.
My next shirt is going to be I only came to pet the dog. I'm only here to pet the dogs. That's my next shirt. So you guys want that shirt? I'm only here to pet the dogs. That'll be out next week. And we've got the rest of our stuff. You know, whatever is on there. Uncle Kathy runs that. She takes all the money. I don't know what some guy picked her up the other day in a Ferrari. I don't know what goes on, but yeah, she handles all of that stuff. And Thumper says he pets dogs because he pisses standing up. That's commendable. That's commendable. Star, hello, Uncle Tony. Hello, Star.
Hello.
That Dodge Garage needs that shirt. It's a great shirt, right,
Yeah.
Jamie? Jamie, you want to do a live with me, like, I don't know, tomorrow and the next night? We should get together. We haven't gotten together in a while. Let me know if you want to do a live. Let me know. Next shirt, I only smoke to annoy people. No, I smoke because I'm autistic. You have no idea. I need it. I don't function well without it. I don't function well with it, but especially without it.
The synapses shuts down with like a nicotine.
Yeah, please. Caffeine, nicotine, and sugar. My entire personality is a carefully tuned balance of caffeine, nicotine, and sugar. And if any of those things are off, I'm not functional. Okay. So, yes, I need it like eyeglasses. And that's the God's honest truth.
There's Jamie. He gave you a response.
Oh, okay. Yeah, Jamie, just throw me a text when you want to do it. Let's just jump on for an hour. You want to do it like Friday? Let me know. So I think that's it. I'm going to end this.
And we're going to end this madness now.
Yes, we're going to put a stop to this before it goes much further.
Yes.
So our amazing, awesome super mods, Zero, Fubar, Mexican Spec. I don't know if Ari was in here. Guys, thank you so much for everything, right? Everybody contributed to Super Chat. Thank you. It's never expected, but it's always appreciated, and it always helps keep the wheels turning here. So thank you so much. And everybody contributed with just your presence and your conversation. I speak for Dr. Art. We are truly grateful for you guys. We would not be able to do this if it wasn't for you. Thank you from the bottom of our hearts.
Now, without these guys, we'd sit in this room for 2 hours and
we'd be talking, just
yelling at each other.
We'd be yelling at the computer,
throwing things, and
it would be pointless. But you guys actually give us a reason to do this. And Fubar just put the link to Dr. Art.
Oh, he's fantastic, that Fubar.
Yes.
Man.
But seriously, I love you guys. You have no idea. Okay, so that's that.
That's it.
Then you're live every Monday night.
Monday night,
7 o'clock Central Time. Dr. Art goes live, and he shows your guys' cars. You send people send them pictures of their cars. They talk about
I had a buddy
it.
on, and we went way deep on all kinds of crazy
You
stuff.
ever roast their cars?
I haven't really got one to be roasted yet.
All right.
No one sent me a pink primered Pinto yet. So.
Okay. So he's not roasting them yet, but I'm sure something will come.
That would be a new thing. Send me your.
Send them stuff to roast.
Yes, and we'll have a good time roasting.
Monday night, 7 o'clock at Dr. Art. And of course, Sunday night, Uncle Kathy and I do our thing in the backyard with the dogs yapping and all of the crazy stuff. And tomorrow I'm going to try to come up with content because I have to every day.
I gotta pull that rear end apart. So I'm not looking forward to that, but it's gotta get done.
I slacked off for a couple of days and the YouTube algorithm just bitch slapped me into total submission. I'm like, I'm going to lose the farm. I'm going to lose the shop. Oh my God, what am I going to do? So
that's what happened last month. I slacked off and I got just whacked.
Right. You guys who don't do YouTube, you have no idea. The algorithm is like a bitch master, okay? And it smacks you if you don't keep it happy. You don't keep those numbers at a certain level. Oh, they just decimate.
It's like those metal choker chains you put on wild dogs.
I'm telling you, it's crazy. So feel bad for us. All right, guys. I'm out of here. I'm gonna hit the button. All right.
Hit
and
the
we're
button.
gonna hit end stream, and then we hit this end stream.
It's gone.
Bye bye.